farming encompasses a variety of housing options tailored to diverse farming needs and environmental conditions. The first approach is open field farming, where snails roam freely within a designated area. Although this allows for natural behavior, protection from predators becomes crucial. Snaileries, another option, provide controlled environments with wooden or wire mesh enclosures. These settings ensure better growth rates and enhanced protection. Tunnels or trenches offer underground shelters, maintaining a stable temperature and humidity level, ideal for certain snail species. For smaller scale operations, indoor setup using plastic containers or wooden boxes provide convenience and ease of management. Regardless of the housing method, several key factors remain crucial for successful snail farming. Proper insulation and ventilation are essential to regulate temperature and prevent moisture buildup, which can lead to health issues. Additionally, maintaining good hygiene practices promotes a healthy environment for snails to thrive. Each housing option has its advantages and limitations, enabling farmers to tailor their approach to optimize snail growth and achieve a sustainable and profitable venture.
My name is Salami Mufta Obolanle. I'm an entrepreneur, a serial investor, and a snail farming consultant. When we look at the evolution of the world, at creation, God actually made enough provision for all animals in the area of shelter. And some actually have their housing done, completed by God. While some, it was an instinct that God gave them on how they are going to actually construct their shelter. That shows the importance at which God himself attached to you having a house. When we are now talking of ideal housing for snail, ideal is actually a relative word. There are so many things to be considered, because what is ideal to one person may not be ideal to another person. What is ideal in one location may not be ideal in another location. And when we have different environments where we live, or in Nigeria or in Africa as a whole. So when we talk of ideal, it's actually a relative word. So many things have to be considered when you are constructing a snail house that is called a pen or snailery. For creating a snail habitat, you need to consider certain factors. One, you need to consider the wind speed and the direction of the wind in that location. Because if the wind is much, definitely the moist nature that is required for snail habitation will not be there. The wind will be drying, the environment will be drying up the snail pen, and it will be causing a kind of inconvenience for the snail. Another thing you need to consider is the temperature and the humidity of the environment. The temperature has to be ideal. The snail is one kind of animal that has the ability to adapt and adjust to whatever temperature, but notwithstanding, we shouldn't allow the temperature to be too high. Then snails love to live in a very humid environment because they love a place that is moist, a place that is literally wet, not all that too wet. But when I say moist, it shouldn't be waterlogged. It should just be moist and be average, because when the water level is too much, the snails will start dying. Another thing we need to consider when we are establishing a snail pen is what type of snail pen do you actually want to put in place. And you also need to also consider the environment, the security in the environment, which are some of the factors that you actually need to put in place to ensure that you get good return on your investment. Ventilation and humidity their necessity to survival of the snail. But these are things that should be considered at the initial stage when you are constructing the snail pen. There must be adequate ventilation. Snails does not like too much heat. And when you are constructing the snail pen, you don't need to cover all the part of the pen. You should make provision for a place where air can come in and at the same time go out. Then in terms of humidity, you have to actually make the place moist. Let it be ideal. How do you do that? You can actually get a watering can to water your snails so that the place will be moist, or you can establish what we call water sprinklers. Actually that's a modern way of getting the place moist for the snail habitation. You can construct or install or put in place sprinklers that keep the place wet, and we also have some plants in the environment to ensure that the humidity level or the humidity rate of that environment is ideal for the snail survivor and for them to be able to do well. When we are talking of substrate, we are actually talking of the kind of soil that is ideal for the snail survivor. The way water is to fish, that's the way soil is to a snail. The best kind of soil or substrate for snail, for you to get excellent result, is actually sandy loamy soil. Why did I say sandy loamy soil? It has the ability to retain some level of water. It has the ability to keep the substrate or the soil moist, so that it will be easy for the snail to crawl around on the surface of the substrate or the soil. When we are now talking of how to keep the place well, there must be adequate sterilization of the soil to ensure that all the germs that has been in the soil, all of them are destroyed, so that they don't have a negative effect on the snail, thereby killing the snails. You also need to ensure regular sanitization of the environment of where the snail is, and at the same time sanitation. So which means you ensure adequate sterilization, adequate sanitation, and adequate sanitization of the snail pen. And this must be done on a regular basis, because the snail slime, when it's getting too much in the snail pen, it can be injurious to the snail. However, there is a biological or a natural way to also take care of the substrate. All you need to do is to introduce earthworms into the snail pen. Snails and earthworm, they can live mutually and enjoy mutual benefit, because the waste from snail is ideal for earthworm consumption, and the waste from earthworm is also ideal to make the snail pen very ideal for survival of the snail. So it's like the two of them are actually living a mutually beneficial life when they cohabit together in the snail pen. Normally, predators will want to come and we like to have access to the snails, because snail meat is very delicious. But while you are laying the foundation for the construction of their pen, which is the house or the snailry, there are certain things that you need to consider. One, you need to actually do research, find out what kind of predators are prevalent in the environment where you want to locate your farm, because there are various forms of predators that are out to attack snail. Snail are harmless animals and they are defenseless. They are not like other animals that can actually defend themselves. Snail is a defenseless animal. So you, the owner of the snail farm, you are the one that will make sure that you put adequate structure or system in place to protect your snail. And one of the things you do is to make sure that the pen you are constructing is adequate, and you must have located the kind of predators in that environment. For instance, let's say you have these black ants, which are very dangerous with the snail. You have to make sure you construct small gutter round. If you are using a concrete pen now, you construct a small gutter round the snail pen, and you put black oil in it, so that the black ants will not be able to cross over to come and actually attack the snails. And if it is lizard or rock gecko that you have as predator in the area where you site your snail farm, what you need to do, you have to make sure that you use adequate netting, various form of netting, mosquito net, Boko Haram net, the agro net. You combine all of them together in a way that none of these predators, no matter their size, will be able to have access to the snails. But let me tell us, the greatest or the biggest predator to snail is actually we human beings. Once we sight snails, because it is delicious, we always go for it. So you have to make sure you put adequate security in your farm to make sure that people don't have access to your snails, unless you just see your snails reducing in quantity.